Well, hello friends. This is just going to be a quick response to Noel Plum. Noel Plum came out with a video criticizing a hangout that I did with Kevin Logan, Christy Winters, and myself, where we talked about the current state of the atheist movement and various atheists within it. And he put up this absolutely wonderful illustration to show what we're like. So look there to the side. You see that? That's us. We're, as he characterized it, we are supervillains on a par with the ones that you find in a Batman comic book. Irresistible. I just had to bring this up because isn't that lovely? Anyway, a couple of things I wanted to say about it real quick. Supervillains, that's kind of over the top, don't you think? I do not consider myself a super much of anything, and he'd probably agree with that, but okay. To make his point, he's got to use a little hyperbole. Alright, so that's that. I do appreciate the fact that Noel Plum actually acknowledged that no, I've never been a leader of the Atheism Plus movement, although that's kind of a backhanded compliment because I actually approved of Atheism Plus. I think it was a great idea. I think it's still a great idea that we set aside some atheists to follow a rather more moral path. But then he gets very angry about dictionary atheism, and he ranted and raved about that. He mischaracterized it as me demanding that atheism follow all of my personal biases that have the same interests in social justice that I do. And that is completely incorrect. Somebody who claims to have followed all this stuff very closely should have noticed that that's not true. What I've always said is that atheism is more than simply denying the existence of God. That, to be honest, everyone who is an atheist must have some other motivation behind it than simply deciding out of the blue that they reject deities. He further characterized it as me insisting that every atheist has to be a feminist. No, that's not true either. I agree that many atheists are anti-feminists, and that's perfectly legitimate. That is not contrary to any definition of atheism that I know of. What it is a demand that you be honest and forthright about the philosophical presuppositions behind your beliefs. You can't just simply say that you're pure and perfect and I believe there is no God with no priors at all, because that's simply dishonest. Noel Plum proudly declares that he is a dictionary atheist. Sure, that just means he's not a very deep thinker, that he's just jumping on a bandwagon without much thought about why he's doing it or much about the consequences of what being an atheist means. So that's why I reject dictionary atheism, because I don't believe it's true. Nobody is that kind of blank slate. Ooh, I just used a term that those guys love so much. Anyway, so that was one thing that bugged me about his video. It's just simply not true. The other thing I would like to point out is that what Christy and Kevin and I were talking about was this recent spate of atheists who've been sort of failing on the moral front. And for a long time we've been complaining that atheism is kind of a void, that it's not doing a very good job of providing leadership for the community, that it is not setting any standards other than, hey, just don't believe in God and you're done, which, as I've said, is intellectually dishonest. Many of us come to atheism for different reasons. Some of us because science leads us to that conclusion. Others because, well, they just like to pretend that they're smarter than everybody else. There's lots of reasons that people do this. And an atheist movement has to do more than just that. It has to provide some substance besides having meetings where we all pat ourselves on the back for rejecting deities. It's not a strong way to do things. Furthermore, he's got very bad timing. Noel Plum just picked the wrong time to do this because we have just recently seen Lawrence Krauss fail miserably. Michael Shermer several years ago blew it and was revealed to be a rather deplorable character. And just this week, David Silverman, the guy who's the head of American Atheists, is exposed for financial malfeasance and also for some rather terrible, explicit, horrible stories that you can read about in BuzzFeed, in which he sexually assaulted at least 3 women. So this is not the time to come complaining about those social justice warriors, because, sorry to tell you this, Noel, we were right. Regretfully, I'd rather we weren't right, that everything was going smoothly, but I'm sorry. Atheism has just been screwing up right and left for the past couple of years, and it would be nice if somebody would acknowledge that instead of doing that frantic, hectic, finger-wagging routine that Noel Plum always does. Okay, that's enough. I just wanted to do a quick one and correct the record on that. Talk to you later. Bye.